Hi, and welcome to the Authentic Woman You Are online series. I'm Jennifer Ackad. I'm your host and the creatrix of that event. And today we have Anaiya Sophia with us. Hi, Anaiya.
Hello, beautiful Jennifer. Very, very wonderful to connect with you, especially you being in the jungle.
Yes, it's special indeed. So, Anaiya, you are a mystic, storyteller, and the author of many books. And I would love for you to introduce yourself to our audience.
Well, I think, to be honest, my gift is my voice. I live in the French Pyrenees. I'm quite remote, and I hardly ever really go into the thick of things. When I say that, I mean cities. It's very rare for me to travel. And I am moved so deeply by everything I see inside of me and outside of me. And I often feel kind of frustrated that I live in such a remote place, but I have chosen to do that.
Mhm.
So, what do I have left? I have only my written and spoken voice.
Mm.
And I feel many of us probably feel that way, that we may be a little bit disconnected from, the plight that our planet is going through right now. What do we have? We have our voice, and that can inspire so much. So that's how I describe me in
Mm-hmm.
this moment.
I love it. Thank you. So, speaking about voice, and let's flow with this. When's the first time, or if you can bring us back to a time in your life when you felt that your voice had been hidden, either you hit a wall or your body spoke very loud and your voice
Mm,
really wanted to start emerging? Can you bring us back
mm,
to that in relation to authenticity? You know, yeah,
absolutely.
yes.
Absolutely. It was the era that was 10 years ago for me, where I found myself in a consistent time of compromise.
Mm.
It started very slowly. I began to notice things here and there within a certain community I was part of. And of course, I tried to sweep things under the carpet, say, this is my imagination, I'm blowing things out of proportion. But it kept happening and it kept happening up until a certain point where I was battling with the sheer knowingness I have to speak out. I have to speak out, come what may. There's going to be judgment, there's going to be hurt feelings, there is definitely going to be backlash.
Mm.
And so, my own soul just kept edging me into this corner until I finally spoke out, because people and situations were getting out of hand and people were getting hurt.
Mm.
So I never spoke out to protect me, although I was included. I spoke out to protect the many. And perhaps that was the only way I was going to speak out, because I could see so many what seemed like undefended and innocent people absolutely getting trashed by this circumstance that we were all in.
Hmm.
And that kind of makes me think about, again, the crisis on our planet right now. We need all of our voices to come out in union with what we're seeing and feeling. I'm thinking about the Australia fires at the moment.
Mhm.
We might be hiding because we're saying to ourselves, yes, but I don't live in Australia, I've got no connection to Australia, I'm a white person. We might have so many reasons why we ought not to say anything, ought not to sound our voice.
Mhm.
But now is not the time for ought not to. Now is the time for just doing it, just saying it, because at the end of the day, we are all human, and this is our planet, and
Mm.
our planet is in plight.
Mm. I hear the fierceness and the courage, the call for the fierceness and the courage in your voice for every woman or every human to wake up.
Yeah,
And I hear also the importance of authenticity in what you're saying, that it's time to be authentic. And in authenticity, I hear voice. What is your true voice? What's the wisdom that's hidden inside of you? And how can you allow it to come out so we can start
Absolutely.
healing the bigger picture.
Absolutely. And for us to have compassion, because when we do speak out for the first time, it might be awkward. It might not be fully true what we're saying, but we've had a great big boulder over our throats for so long. And as that boulder rolls out the way, many voices are going to come out before we reach the authentic voice. So we shouldn't just slam on someone because we're not in agreement with their opinion. This might be the first time ever they've dared offered some kind of partial opinion. So it's going to be messy. It's going to be messy until the real voice gets found.
Yeah, very, very important, this voice. And when you said the throat, it's actually an area where so many people, like, we are choking. We feel that we have something to say.
Yes.
And let's speak about, sacred body wisdom and how the body speaks. I know you have your work is a lot related to this. Can you speak a bit into this, please?
Yeah. I feel, again, it goes down to expression. Us humans are changing, or as Andrew or Harvey would say, mutating. We're not in a transformational process. We are in a mutation process. And our consciousness can just about see what we could become. The problem is this little voice again. We're not able to articulate what we are becoming and the kind of world we want to be part of. But we do know, we partially know. We can sense it, we can taste it. It's just we can't put it into word yet. So what do we do with this rising presence inside of us? Well, I feel that the body is capable of many forms of communication, and word and expression is just one of them. And one of my creations has been this body of work called Sacred Body Awakening, which is where three bodies come together and express their genuine, clean, pure, bottomless love for one another in the body, in the form. And it gets really interesting when those three people happen to come from three very different nations.
When you say three people inside of us, you mean?
No. Together in like a circle of people.
In a circle of people. Yes. Okay.
So it's kind of like a somatic, hands-on expression of presence with three other people.
Yes.
But what I find absolutely profound when I see it with my own eyes and try to comprehend what's going on is when I see three people from different nations. So let's just say an Egyptian woman with an American woman with an Irish woman. Now I know so much healing is taking place through that close proximity to one another. Things that we can't yet articulate, things that have gone on in our history, that we're showing up for one another to take care of that situation that happened 250 years ago or 700 years ago in ways that word cannot do this level of healing. But our bodies can. That's you're seeing me struggle right now for words. There are other ways of making things right.
It's very subtle. It's we are used with the density of words and speaking, but what you're speaking about is it's very subtle, and we might not even have those words yet. We have textures, we have feelings, the communication between what we can call energies, or
absolutely.
Yes. And yeah, it's very profound, everything that you are sharing.
Well, thank you for first, navigating this with me. When words just don't just don't reach what we're communicating about.
Hmm. And even sometimes we can find the words and we are able to channel them,
Yes,
but
yes, yes,
the other side, the way that it's received is filtered. The
yeah,
essence of it is not received because of the tensions of the body that are in the way, or the filters, or
yes,
whatever it is.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yes. I'm breathing in and I'm going like deeper with you through this this conversation. um
I do want to expand on this a moment if I can.
of course.
I'm doing a series, a vodcast. I'm calling it Messages for Humanity, and it's a platform to have an uncomfortable conversation, things that must be spoken about.
Mhm.
And I try not to say much at all because I don't really know much about the conversations I'm having. All I know is it's got to be said. And I'm finding the best spokespeople to speak about these conversations and
Mm.
then to air it to my community. And one of the conversations coming up for January is going to be around white privilege. I'm going to open up that conversation.
Mm.
And there is a lot of words that need to be said around this particular subject. And because I'm so close to the body, I want to open a space where the words aren't necessary in this moment, but what is happening now is some form of closeness in the body between the many nations, the many skin colors on our planet. That's my dream. We must have the conversation, and us white folk, we must listen to what is being said.
Mhm.
But then there's another step, and that's the healing step. And maybe word is not able to do the healing yet. So maybe we have to use another modality, which is expression, which could be facial expression, it could be touch, it could be just simply standing beside
Mm.
or standing behind.
Mm. I hear the word presence. It's like you said it already. It's presence that heal, which is so close to nature.
Yes,
Mm.
yes.
And if we link this to the authentic woman you are, and the path to authenticity, what were the biggest challenges you, as a white woman, uh,
Mm.
had to go through um, on this path? Like, if you want to name maybe 2 or 3 biggest challenges that for the audience, because sometimes it's scary to jump
Mm.
onto this awareness path and body wisdom and all of this.
Very much. One of the biggies for me coming from Britain, so
Mm-hmm,
born and raised in Britain, is breaking out of the mold of I have to be agreeable. I have to agree with everyone around me.
mm-hmm,
I have to be pleasing. I have to back down if my opinion is different.
mm-hmm,
If I do any of these things, I'm going to bring about shame. I'm going to bring about judgment. I'm going to bring about opinion against me. So it's kind of like a glass ceiling that I notice as a Brit, as a female Brit,
mm-hmm,
growing up. You're allowed to grow to this point,
mm,
but then there's a glass ceiling. No one sees it, but we all know it's there.
mm,
And so breaking that glass ceiling, daring to be provocative,
mm.
daring to not be pleasing, but to say, I disagree completely with what you've just said, and stay loving and stay
Yes.
connected.
Yeah, it's not being
That was one of
provocative.
my biggies. Yeah,
Yes. I was going to say it's not being provocative just for the sake of being provocative. There's really
no,
something that wants to be communicated with love behind it.
yes, Yes, yes. And of course it goes both ways. So when someone completely and utterly disagrees with you,
Yes.
you're also able to stay open in the heart with them. And I do believe this ability to balance and hear and reflect upon and listen to and run it by our own ideas,
Mm-hmm.
I believe this adaptability is in great generosity in the feminine part of humanity at the moment.
Mm. And
That's a really radical thing to say, but I feel that's true, that us women or us feminine types, so men who have a lot of feminine energy, will find that adaptability piece whilst navigating to their truth, making sure they're not cutting corners and backing down if it doesn't feel true.
mm.
That is authentic womanhood.
Mm.
Now we
In
can,
relation. Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
we can
Go.
be with people with a different opinion to us.
Yes.
You know, I'm watching the situation at the moment between the US and I think it's Iran. So there's an escalating situation right now, you know, today, on this day, this afternoon. And I just can't help feeling, I might be completely naive, but I can't help feeling that if women were in these positions of power, this kind of thing would not be happening. That
If you,
might be my storyteller heart
the,
speaking right now
yeah.
and completely naive, that perhaps women would do exactly the same moves.
Mm,
We would bomb people because
mm,
we felt that they were a terrorist threat.
mm.
But I
And
don't feel so.
I would love to hear that space where you are coming from. Let's put words to the feminine
Mm.
that is speaking through right now, and that makes you say that when we say woman, it's the feminine that will be rising and that would not create that. Tell us where you're coming from saying this.
I feel, God, it's so difficult.
Yeah.
I feel the feminine is not so black and white.
Mm,
She is not looking out at life through a strong dualistic mind, that she is able to see the many, many shades of everything involved with this thing we call life and this planet and humanity and all of our needs and all of our values and all the things that are meaningful to us as men, as women, as children. So she's like multi-aware, aware at the mind and aware with emotional intelligence.
mm,
So when the feminine has to make a decision, she will appeal for all input from the mind, from the heart, from intuition, from factual, you know, this is what is actually going on in here.
mm-hmm.
And then she will run the whole lot through her inner wisdom.
The perception,
To,
everything.
yes, to seek out a feeling based decision.
Mm,
Whereas the masculine, I feel, I might be wrong, I feel the masculine does not do that. He is interested only in factual and solving problems. And the emotional consideration of all life that is involved with this problem is not deeply considered.
mm. Yes, and let's precise again that when we relate to the feminine and the masculine, it's not female and male. It's the feminine and the
No,
masculine that both genders have inside it.
yeah,
Yes.
yes. And it is a common awareness that the feminine is rising in us all, in men, in women, in planet. So,
Mm,
you know, the feminine everywhere, a universal feminine force is rising up in her creation, and we humans, we're part of this creation.
and we feel it pushing. It's very tangible.
Yeah, Yeah.
the desire to create is very strong. At least I perceive. It's like there's that force wanting to push, and there's the window is kind of being narrow now. It's like, no,
Yeah.
you have to use that voice.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, it's very felt based, like you
Yes.
say. And I know you wanted to speak a lot about also about sacred sexual wisdom, and when we relate to sexuality, that dance between the polarities and the feminine in all of this. So let's open it up for that subject, if you want to still.
Yes. Well, so here we are, 2020, many things going on. It's already the first week of January, and already we are starting to see a lot of movement on the world stage. So to me, sexuality, sexual union is a place where we can find refuge, healing, activation, expansion, and inspiration. Now, back in the day, back in the old days where we lived a very different life, sexuality wasn't even called sexuality for a start, it was called sex.
Mm.
Sex was a goal orientated, who can ejaculate and come first, bigger, brighter, faster, many partners, many ways. That was then.
Yes.
Now we have to approach and sustain this activity, I feel, in a totally different vibration, because it is going to be the place where we restore and replenish our power. Because we will, if it isn't already happening to us yet, it will. We will have to become a contributing role in this world stage of tremendous change that is happening. And sexuality and sexual union and our own sexual sovereign self is where we're going to be able to get our hands on the resources to become and maintain that new level of being. So sexuality is like a great well of potential. It's where we're going to find our stability, our stamina, our endurance, our light, our expression, and literally pulling something out of the hat, becoming something we never imagined we could become, because that is what is being called for in this moment, when we literally break out of the shell of our own conditioning and upbringing and just boom, we even surprise ourselves. Because what's within us is a power, an enlightenment power that can come from two people joining together in the deepest and most incandescent ways. So
Yes.
that is what sexuality, that's what it needs to become. This route, this highway to light, expansion, and mystery.
And a lot of safety in that mystery.
Yes.
Coming from
Yes.
the roots, you mentioned roots.
Yes.
A lot of safety and a lot of power and a lot of energy, creative potential for the feminine in each one of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And let's speak from that perspective of, again, the female and sexuality. And I said female, right? Female and
Yes.
sexuality and feminine and sexuality. Let's give a bit of wisdom or whatever you want to share for the audience.
The feminine in both man and woman is seeking intimacy with another, not just the self. It is also seeking intimacy with the self and with connection to the source. But the feminine in humankind really deeply longs to just go into that mystery with another. So a unity. So that is the driving force in the feminine. The driving force in the female is to take in at such ever greater depths the masculine. You know, we can even talk about this on a physical level, to
Yes.
literally take in that lingam, but not just the lingam, not just the penis, the
Yes.
actual essence behind whoever that penis belongs to.
Yeah.
Or even if it's a woman relating, it's the masculine of that woman. One will have to be the penetrative one,
Mm-hmm.
even if there is no penis.
Yes.
She will still have a penetrating energy. She
Mm-hmm.
wants to enter her female partner.
Yeah.
So it's just to unveil, take off the protection, take off the masks, open, open, open to this person. That is what the female is longing for, to
Mm-hmm.
be opened beyond her every understanding.
Taking in, receiving.
Yes, letting go of control, letting go of management, letting go
Mm.
letting go of all comprehension, totally into the instinct now, totally into the primordial. Your senses are of no use in this place. You have just bottomed out of your own being. You're in a whole new realm now.
Mm.
And yet there's still awareness navigating.
Mm. And I hear
Yeah.
all dimensions in what you're saying. I hear the body, I hear the energy, the emotional realm, and I hear the unified space of nothingness, or whatever we want to be
Yeah.
calling it. And it's such a huge topic that you're bringing, because sexuality, or what we used to call, or what's still called sometimes, sex, can be so painful and so hurtful and so damaging for the female body. And in
Yes.
terms of, we speak about body wisdom, in terms of traumas, in terms of opening up and letting in when we are not actually ready or receptive,
Absolutely.
and all the damage
Absolutely.
that we go through, that we've been through, and that we can still go through sometimes. If you
Absolutely.
have something to share on this, I think it can be very helpful. Since we're on that topic, we can open this.
I feel one of the first things we can really show up to ourselves for is to actually ask ourselves a very important question. Do we actually want to merge with another right here, right now, in this moment? Because it is so common and normal, not natural, but normal for
Yes.
many of the feminine. So the ones saying yes, not the ones inviting, that's the masculine. So the ones saying yes to the sexual act, we have to check, true yes. Or are we compensating? Are we being dutiful? Are we keeping the peace? Are we communicating? Are we pacifying? Are we siding with? What is the truth of our answer?
Mm.
And another aspect I'm really dialed into is, where is this sexual act taking place? Because we have to also consider the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a high vibration environment? Is this kind of like a depraved and dark and troublesome environment? Because when a woman opens up, she's also opening up to the environment. The energy of the environment is also entering the
Yes.
sexual field and going into her organs and brain.
And creations.
Totally, totally.
Yes.
So we have to take a little look around at where this is happening.
Yes. Very, very deep subject. And it brings the subject of sacredness, sacred sexual wisdom, and
Yes.
the sacredness. How, nowadays, to speak about sacredness around sexual, I think we're really opening up to that new phase. But to use the word sacred, sometimes people can interpret this as religion, or whatever old ways of doing things, very conservative, which is not. There's something very, even the word pure, I'm even scared to use the word pure, but
Yeah.
the purity of the act and the purity of creation. I feel you would be very well placed to speak about this, whether it's a creation, a baby, whether it's a creation, a project, a book. Talk about creation if you want.
Absolutely. Well, I think what I would say is we have to realize we're making love with a living person, and that living person has a divine spark within them, and you can catch the essence of that divine spark on their breath. So maybe that's a good place to start. The breath of the other one, and within that other one is a very tender and fragile set of feelings and heart presence, and this other one is totally on the path alongside of you, and that this is the one perhaps that the sacred has sent to you. This one has crossed your path for a reason. What is that reason? Is this one to bring you comfort and healing, or is this one to challenge you so that you can break through something? So we must always look at our partners very, very closely and realize that everything that's alive and tender inside of us is inside of them. And even if they appear really like super tough and unfeeling, there is deep feeling going on, and your influence on them is having a profound effect upon them. Yeah.
Yes. What are the biggest myths you will encounter on that path of authenticity or sexuality? And also, what would be the biggest mistakes maybe that either you've done or that you see people do, even if we don't really believe in mistakes, right?
Mm. The biggest myth, you said. What is the biggest myth?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. My biggest myth has been what I would call shallow relating or skimming. Up until, I would say, 35, approaching 40, I would say that I've skimmed through my human part of life. So I've plunged deep with the spiritual part of me, but really skimmed when it came to human endeavors. Connecting a little bit at arm's length, placing veils over my own self, communicating behind glass walls. That's probably why I use that terminology a lot, glass walls, glass ceilings. And that has been my life's lesson, is to come out from behind the glass wall and really, really present the deep sensitivity that is within me to another, to really meet, to really connect. And all of this is happening to me now, much later on in life. And I guess one of, not so much a regret, but what I would call a beautiful sadness, one I treasure, the sadnesses I treasure, is to look back and go, wow, I met so many amazing people in my 20s and early 30s, but I didn't really connect with them. We shared, we had a good time, but I didn't really connect with them. So that's my myth. My myth is realizing how well traveled I was privileged to be, but I didn't have the awareness, and I didn't have the patience, and I certainly didn't have the humility to recognize, oh my gosh, I'm coming into contact with so many different types of people. So many nations and cultures and age groups are not really presenting the full self here.
And in the full self, I hear also the medicine that you hold inside, and with humility, of course, but your essence. That's what you mean,
Yes,
meeting somebody,
yeah,
essence to essence. And
absolutely, absolutely.
it brings me to the innocence of a kid, of a child, of children, and
Yeah,
how, you know, when we look at them, when we come to this life, there's like this. I remember when I was holding my son, he was not even a week old, and it was just this pure battery. Like it
mm,
was essence, right?
yes,
And my biggest wish would be to really hold the biggest space for those kids to grow as close as possible to their essence through,
yeah,
you know, through their growth process. So I'm going to bring you back
yeah,
to maybe your early years, because you speak about this essence. So we grow up, we lose it, and then at an later in age, then we go back to it. So
yeah,
do you feel
yeah.
you were connected to that essence more as a kid? You have remembrance and of your gifts, or what we can call gifts, and all of this.
I really do believe, I never let go of the essence.
Mm.
Something happened to me when I was 7.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
I came into contact big time with the essence inside of me, with the essence inside of another one,
Mm.
and by golly, I clung to that for dear life. So as I went through my teenage and rebelled and became ugly and punky, you know, on purpose because I wanted to like ruffle the feathers and kick the apple cart. And even though I'd been so kind of anarchistic during the day,
Mm.
I'd get into bed that night and I'd come to my essence
Mm.
and I would pray every night before sleep. I would pray, despite being such a provocative and unruly teenager and 20 something.
Mm.
And
So,
that
mm.
I know has been my saving grace. That, and I mean that grace.
Yes, it is.
I saw grace at a young age and I did not lose sight of it ever.
Yeah, never losing yourself, like you say, in a way. Like you
Yes.
always knew who you were at a deeper level.
At a deeper level.
At a deeper level, yes, that's what we're speaking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, which
Yes,
doesn't happen to all teenagers. I mean, I remember my teen years, it was not like this.
yeah,
Like this now.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, very profound conversation. Thanks so much for everything that you are sharing.
Mm.
Um, is there something you would like to share? You know, there's not a specific questions because I am absorbing everything that you're sharing behind the words. Also, is there something that comes to your mind that would like to be shared with the audience right now?
Well, what is really live and present for me right
Yes,
now
go.
is what's behind you.
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
looking at that beautiful nature behind you. And because
Mm,
I've been tracking the Australian fires for the last couple of days,
yes.
and you know, all the imagery is red and orange and fiery. So I'm looking at this beautiful green lushness behind
Mm,
you.
yeah,
And
nice.
what is so real for me in this moment is to thank
Mm.
you for where you are right now and that we can have this conversation on. You're in Costa Rica, aren't you?
I'm in Costa Rica. I'm in Pachamama Eco Community
Uh-oh.
Center. Yes.
So I just want to love you, Jennifer, and I want to love you, environment, through this screen.
Mm,
And I want to open my awareness that it's not just two humans speaking, because behind me is the Pyrenean Mountains, and you're in the jungle. So let's just get these two honored and spoken about.
yes. And the wisdom is being channeled through for what the audience needs to be hearing right now. It's touching me very much, and it's touching me at the throat. Whew.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything. is for a reason.
Everything.
You're having goosebumps. You know,
Totally.
I'm going to tell the audience that it took us about 2 weeks or even more to be able to schedule that interview. Every meeting that we were scheduling was not going through. You know, either it was a flood
Yes.
in England or, you know, we were traveling. So we both knew that there was a perfect timing for this meeting. And here we are in perfect places, right? And that's how
Yeah.
life works. That's the
Yeah.
mystery of life. And trust comes from there, right?
Absolutely. And that again is that non-dualistic. You know, me and you, we've had to be so non-dualistic for our connection to finally come.
Yes.
You know, not be black and white.
Hmm.
And I had no idea I was going to say that about the jungle and about the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like just willing and to say something obscure. But that is what's true for me.
Mm-hmm. And it's very much connected to the feminine also, which is the flow, the expansive, and
Yeah,
the masculine is more the structure.
yeah,
And both are beautiful, right? It's by all means, it's without judgment, right? That we are saying
yes,
this.
yeah, yeah.
And sometimes I feel I need to precise this, you know.
Absolutely. And it's different energies for different times. Like
Mm-hmm.
let's just say, for instance, we are going into a breaking down, chaotic field.
Yes.
Then it's the masculine we're going to call upon to reorganize and make order again. But it's going to be a different order. It's going to be a sacred order, not
Mm.
rigid dictator order.
Mm.
Some other kind of order. Yeah.
And we so need it's we need this. We need
We
both.
cannot create
It's
without it. If there's no masculine, it's just chaos. It's lucid creativity running around all over the place. Not really getting formed. We need the masculine to be the architect,
mm.
create the order, and we, the feminine, will manifest around it.
Yes. Beautiful. And
Mm.
we'll introduce your the free gift you have for the audience now, which is I have the title here, Connecting with Your Inner Oracle. If you can drop a few lines
Absolutely.
for us on what it is about.
Well, it's a transmission. It's kind of like a spiritual story. So using the storyteller's voice to go on a journey together on your inside to find that part of you that does know, that does sense, and is quietly navigating what is real and what is unreal in your own life.
Mm.
So it's finding that inner oracle within you, going past all the other voices until you really come to that clarifying and very comforting. That's how you know it's true. It's comforting. It's a counsel that comforts everyone who is in the mix of this truth you need to find.
Mm.
So it's not just about comforting you.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is considered.
I love the precision. It's
Mm.
it's serving the big picture.
Yeah.
Yes, beautiful. Thanks. So
Mm.
by all means, go and grab that free gift that Anaiya is sharing with us. The URL link is on the same page as this video, and enjoy it fully. I hope you enjoyed this interview as much as I did, and
And
keep on
me.
keep on keep on watching. Many experts, more than 21 experts on this series, sharing their wisdom, their gifts. Yes, so keep on going and keep on going on your path too. Blessings. Thanks very much, Anaiya.
Thank you, Jennifer.